Hey. Testing. Check. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to the last mile. So yeah, I didn't do much gig work last week. I had friends in town. I had Marissa's birthday. I had another friend's birthday, and um, yeah, we um, just didn't work as much. I worked earlier on in the week, but this week I want to let you guys know that on Curry alone this week it's been a little bit quiet for me in my market. I am talking with Alice today from Curry about something, and then I'm talking with Josh tomorrow about an app update that's happening. And I'm kind of curious if it's interfered because I've talked to a few other people who've had some odd questions, like location service questions and stuff that I'm not really sure. Oh, maybe I can even find that out from Alice today, but I'm guessing she'll just ask me to ask Josh or somebody else because uh, if you have location services on all the time, you never have to have the app open, and that's what I do. But I was getting word from a friend in Michigan who was saying that now they're getting the blue light indicating that they're being tracked all the time, and I was like, well, that's the way you get Curry orders. So I don't know. I believe he was on an Android too. I'm on an iOS, so I believe maybe there was a Android update or something. And another thing I can never really vouch for because I'm not on an Android is it's easier to pass things through on an Android. Um, Gary can tell you this too. Gary Middleton, he can tell you that it's easier to get an app through on an Android to the Play Store than it is elsewhere. So it's the operating system, and it's just more. It's easier to get something almost in a beta mode passed through. So, but yeah, I did not do much last week. This week a little bit slow, but I just barrel through with it because it'll come back around. But also, I don't know if any of you guys, I think a lot of the country anyway. Again, I'm in Colorado, so we get everything from the west, things that come up from the south, the Santa Anas, all the way from the northwest. So we get all kinds of different crazy weather. But we have had rain every day in Colorado since mid late Aprilish, and by that I mean like right now it's sunny out, little cloudy, but mostly sunny. In Colorado, usually in the summer, it's weird. You get about 30 to 40 minutes of rain every day, right around 2, 3 o'clock. Just comes through, and then the sun pops right back out. But these have been like, even if it's not full days, they've been 4 to 5 hour like hail rain. I mean, the whole state is green as can be, and we normally this time of year, that's not the case. We're usually worried about there not being enough rain or there not being enough snow to melt down. But this year it looks like this it should, like, normally too we'd be in the triple digits. I think right now we're sitting at about 80. I don't even think we've got out of the low 80s yet, knock wood. To those of you who like the hundreds, more power to you. I don't like being here in the Arctic cold, but I do have the gear to dress up and not be affected by it. But Denver doesn't get that way. But the search and rescue type stuff, yeah, and in the backcountry stuff that I do, it gets very cold. But I'm all geared up always for that. I do like our summers. I'm not a big fan of 100-degree temperature. That's just out of bounds for me. So in the last few years, we've been having a lot of, especially remember during the pandemic, we were having a lot of 100 hour or 100-degree plus days. And man, I'm telling you, so let me give a quick shout out here to the chat. What's up, Josh? What's up, Kevin Hawthorne? What's up, Dasher Benj? Never got your email. I'm gonna have to look at that. I'm not really sure. Guessing that you emailed Steve at Rideshare Rodeo. So if you guys aren't aware, 2 emails, and there's a reason for them too. So Steve at Para goes to a different name. I don't have them all in one location that I see constantly. So Steve at withpara.com if you want, if anything para related or para works related, I'm your guy. Steve at withpara.com for anything Paraworks. For everything else, Steve at ridesharerodeo.com. So, um, hey, Justin saying, hi, Flower, how are you? So, Justin saying, I like Colorado Goldilocks weather. Not too hot, not too cold. Yeah, but if you were listening, man, this is like, I'm happy so far. We're in June and it's like high 70s, mid 70s, sunny out, and it's been pushing through rain every day, but it's slowing down a bit. But like our rain was coming some days for like 10 hours. We normally don't get that. We get rain season in early May or late April, early May, but it usually is just faster runs. Like it's been raining here every day since like, I want to say like April 15th, April 25th, somewhere in there that but we every day has had at least, and by that I mean like even if it's just an hour, but most days I would say like 95% of the days since that date have had at least 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours of rain, hail, all kinds of stuff. But then it goes back to 60 degrees and sunny. People that live out here in Colorado know the motto. Um, any day of the year you can catch four seasons in a day, and we kind of like it out like that. It could be winter. You can get a summer day, uh, snow, rain, fog. I mean, you can get autumn. Like you can get all the weather there is. So. Uh, got another 2 feet last night of what? Or last weekend? 2 feet. Where are you, Justin? Where? I'm not sure I know where you live. Are you talking about 2 feet of snow? Because I know that some of the friends we had out here last week are from California. Or well, um, they live in Reno, but we have all their friends in Tahoe and down in the city and stuff. But this is one of my very very dearest friends in the world, and he came from Reno, and he said that he was telling me, and he knows I've been snowboarding for 32 years. I do it backcountry. I'm search and rescue certified. I mean, we're close enough. He knows all of this, and he was telling me that they're leaving all the resorts open for the summer up in Tahoe. Like I haven't checked on this myself yet, but like Heavenly and North Star and Alpine, they're going to be open all summer. So if you have a pass, supposedly, and again, I haven't checked myself because I don't have a pass out there, and I got no plans of going out there to try and catch some summer slush. If I lived there, I would go ride. I'd throw on one of my old decks and just go rip it up. But I'm not going to make a trip out there for it. However, it's pretty amazing because usually never the case. Usually Colorado, the latest that I've always known a resort to close is a basin. Um, Usually here in the continental U.S. Even Jackson Hole closes before that, and so does Big Sky and stuff. Even if they have a good season, they just don't like it getting ripped up. But A Basin's usually open till about right now. In fact, Tony and Lisa and I were supposed to do a coffee in Colorado today, June 6th, up at A Basin for their final day, but they closed they closed it on June whatever Saturday was. Saturday was the last day they were open, so we didn't get to do it. But we are doing one tomorrow, and it's the first one in a long time. So see how that goes. Hey Brian, what's up? Um, Not often is the fire risk low this time. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. When you say 2 inches northern Colorado, are you? I think maybe I do know this. Maybe you're Fort Collins ish, but maybe in a little bit. Like, are you like by Mishawaka, or are you like when you say no northern Colorado? Are you talking about like Steamboat or? But I'm just guessing that you're near the Front Range in northern Colorado, and I'm guessing it's somewhere near Fort Collins, but maybe a little more north up there in Red Feather or up by Mishawaka. Come on, Justin. Can't wait for your answer. Let's go. Just kidding. What's up, Marissa? How are you? But yeah, so I don't know. I saw Josh, and if you are on the Curry app, Brian, have you guys seen, and I'm not talking about good or bad orders, but have you seen a decrease, not in a trend, because we all know how it goes with Curry, but have you seen a decrease in orders that you're seeing uh this this week and maybe last? Just curious, because I'm about to talk to Alice, and I honestly believe that there's an issue um with the app dispensing rides. And I don't think it's a huge one. I don't think it's, well, we're trying but we can't fix it. I think that it's something that is being fixed. But I could be wrong, and I'll find out, but there's no way that those few of orders came through in the last 2 weeks, even on a slow week. No, it's kind of really the same. Okay. So, I mean, Brian lives in a good curry market like I do, so if it's just the same for him, maybe it's just been me. Or maybe we all know how it goes. Even my market can go dry for a week or two, and then it usually pops back or something. So who knows? Um, Also, another thing too that I started finding out is that there are some drivers who have Curry. Like, first of all, you guys, a couple things. If you have Curry, I've said this before, but I should remind you guys once in a while that if you have Curry, make sure. I hate doing this. I don't do it for any app. Most every setting I do for location services only is what whatever they require to use the app. So I usually choose location services can be used while using the app. So I do that on everything, not just gig apps, whatever. I don't let anything be always running. However, you don't have to have the Curry app open. In fact, I think it works a lot better when you don't. I think you actually get an offer through quicker with the banner than the refresh if you have the screen sitting on requests. So it's best to just have it closed. When an offer comes through, just tap it, takes you right to it. But you got to have your location services always on, and that should make sense, or else you're not going to get offers. Now, because Curry isn't third party data, they're not selling all your data off. They're not doing this, that, and the other. And really, to run a system that occasionally pushes around robin or something, or like tallies up your location, like when an offer comes through, it's checking, but it's not it it ha- I, it's not burning a battery like it would if, like, okay, if you turn DoorDash, um which, first of all, you guys, again, please go through all of your so look, please go through all of your apps that you work, and make sure that you are not, because you are not being paid by Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, none of them for your data. You are allowing them to resell your data by using the platform, but you are not being paid a dime. So make sure that you do not have any settings set to always allow location services. It burns your battery faster, but it also uh, so it burns your battery quicker, but it also uh, again, with the DoorDash apps and stuff, like, why would you let, when you're not working, why would you want them acquiring any data on you? They're selling it. You're just not getting a dime for it. But why would you excuse me, why would you let that happen? So make sure that almost every one of them requires you to have it on when you're using the app. Go through and make sure. Sometimes even I've oddly seen even an update change the way you want that status. And they're supposed to let you know if an update does that. They're actually not supposed to do that in updates, but I've seen it happen. So every once in a while, if you feel like your battery's burning a little quicker, or if you just, once a week want to give your apps a tune up, just go into the settings on your Android or your iPhone, scroll down to all your apps, go into DoorDash, and make sure all the settings are how you want them. Location services only while using the app. These are mine. I don't know what you guys want to use, but only while using. Can it access my camera? That one always answers a little different. I always choose whatever is like, it can access my camera but not my photos, if that's an option. If that's not an option, And I need to like, because you know, sometimes when you're setting it up, you need to use the camera. It's like we need it for this, but you'll probably, and I guess this isn't food because you will need it to take a picture of the food, but you might not need the camera again. But they make you turn it on to take a picture, hoping that you'll forget to turn it off. But that's why it's good to go back in those settings and go, okay, well, yeah, before I was accepted and activated, yeah, okay, I could see that they needed it because I needed to take a picture of my license or whatever you might have needed. But that's when you want to go back in after you're accepted and active and you've done it for a minute, even one or two. You want to go back in and just make sure they make sense to you. Make sure that that's what you want. The more that's on in each one, the more battery it does burn. And if you leave it always on, it will burn more. So you guys obviously can do what you want, but I would recommend to not let these companies have any more data on you than they should because they're selling them. You're not getting anything. And yeah, that's kind of that. So I have seen some good curry offers. I've a couple times, I've just missed out on them, which is weird. Like I know I grabbed them right away. Um, but again, you know, I normally am like busting it for curry. And it's a little weird to me right now because I'm in this weird space. And I'm going to be asking both Alice today and Josh tomorrow about this. But like, because I probably in the past week, I've probably done about a fourth or a fifth of the amount of curry I do in that amount of time. I'm wondering, like, did I get kicked down the ladder a little bit? Did I get a little? I mean, I know, but I'm going to ask. I might not get a direct answer, but I can tell you guys one thing that isn't true with any other company. And I guess, you know, it kind of helps that I know all the people over at Curry, but they won't lie to me. They have sometimes said, hey, man, we can't tell you about the secret sauce. But that's like a wink, wink. Like, hey, we can't discuss that. But like, there are things. I think I know where those lines are. I think this is a acceptable question. Or is it an app update, which I know is coming? I saw Marissa made a comment about the map. Uh, so I just noticed today an icon in the top left of my phone. Like when I have a map open, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm using I can't get on it right now. Um, so I can't. I do know what's coming. So, and in fact, Marissa, you know that I think you know. I mean, I've told you, but I think you know that what is coming is. I see Gary Middleton just came in. What's up, Gary? Um, I I know that like some of what Gary had said, taking away the home screen, moving it right to the request is happening. But I know that there's a mapping feature that's being integrated as well that's going to be able to let you zoom in and see the location, especially for those that are random and new. Because, um, well, I think Josh, I don't know if Josh did what I do with Curry, but with Curry, every 2 weeks I sit down with a group. Um, I feel like a test subject monkey or something because it's always it's always Jesse organizing it. And it's a meet session. And it's him and I. He wants to walk me through all these things. And then he brings in 5 or 6 other people and he records the session. So it's pretty funny. I mean, it's all these Curry people I know and all the high ups, and then they're going, well, what do you think of this? And the first couple times I did, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't know what they were like. We were doing direct user testing. I didn't know what they wanted. You know, I was like, okay, it's the app. What about it? And he's like, I don't know. You tell me. I was like, you know, I mean, and then I started getting it. I'm like, are you asking me like what I like and don't like? Because it was changes, and I was like, I don't like the way this does this. If I'm looking at requests, that's too much information. I have to scroll down. I won't see them all. I was giving them all my like picky stuff, but then all the things I did like, and supposedly the app. That's what Josh and I are talking about tomorrow. Um, Hey, you know, you don't need to be. And by the way, Josh, I always say what I always say. Well, as soon as he's like says that, because you know how he waits, and I don't know if he brings other people in, if he does like a testing with you, but if he brings other people in, like with me, he brings as many as he'll come, and he always has. I know a couple other people, he brings maybe one person or something, but he'll bring like 5 or 6 with mine, engineering, the whole team. And he'll say, you know, I'm hitting record, and I immediately say, I just disclaim it, and I'm just like, just so you guys know, I can't be deactivated. And they all get a laugh because, of course, I could be. but they're all like, yeah, I mean, if because Josh is like, just be totally honest, and that's when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be, but I cannot be deactivated. So again, I put my faith into them. There's no, would I do that with DoorDash? Or I mean, of course not. But I would I even do that with most companies? Not really. The only other one I can think of where I'd be very upfront is with Joel, the owner of Dumpling. Like, if I like Joel, this sucks on the app. I don't mind saying that to him in a nice way. But between Curry and Dumpling, other than that, I really don't have any companies I would ever be straight with. In fact, with most companies, it's keep your information to yourself. Give them the littlest, give them just what they need to get you like money. If it's in money involved, give them only what they need to get that money. If they have a question for you, answer it as plainly and as non-directly as you can. And I don't like giving that kind of advice to anybody because like why should you have to be so on guard? But we do. We know there's unfair deactivations. We know there's all kinds of things. So okay, let me see. Yeah, yeah, flour, of course, and it's kind of an important thing too because you might even want to go through other things, yeah, any other app because most apps, or not most, but I mean quite a few, especially these days, try and leave location services on. Like when you download it, they want it on all the time. So that first time you launch it, you get that question: do you want it when it's do you want to use it or only have used location when on? Or when using the app, do you want it on all the time or never? And of course, you have to choose one of the top two. I would say only pick them all for only when app is on. But if you want curry orders, you're going to have to allow that. So if you're going out of town for a week, and you really feel like it's doing anything to your battery, I can say I've turned curry. Like I know that it's really not doing much to my battery. I don't let any other apps pull that kind of stuff. Um, Unless I'm using them. But if you really feel like it is, then if you're not going to use it for a few days or whatever, turn it off. But if it's off, uh, you're not going to get orders. And if you decide to say only while I'm using the app, well, then you're going to have the app open, which is definitely going to burn more battery than just running in the background. So, really, Josh? Again, I can't show my phone. I will post it on a community post today. So I have a 5 star. I have a 5 star for 2 years, all 5 stars. You were the guest, Gary. You didn't show up, dude. I was pissed, man. Jackass. Just kidding. Flower, you're in Hannibal's Market, right? You're in Brooklyn. So, because I was gonna say, I'm wondering, I wanted to make sure Curry's even in your area. To you, I would recommend Flower. I don't know if you've caught some of these other ones, but I would recommend looking into freight, looking into dispatch, looking into drop off. I'm sure you've done point pickup, and it's pretty. I mean, at least in my market, it's gone dead. You're in Alabama. I thought you were in. Oh no, no, no. Okay, sorry, that's Ceci. Where in Alabama are you? Are you in a big city? Are you in like Montgomery or Mobile or because that could be part of it too. Like if you're more rural, it might take a minute for them to acquire something there or a need for that. Oh, you're okay. Well, yeah, you're in Birmingham. Um, I don't know how long ago you signed up. I don't know if you used my link. But if you used my link, you can email me, steve@ridesharerodeo.com. Again, that link does nothing for me. Everybody's on the waiting list. I mean, Chris here, I see, Chris, what's going on? What's up, Chris? But still waiting to get off the wait list for Curry. Okay, Chris has been on it longer, literally, guys, longer than anybody I know. Even Pedro's still on it because I'm pushing for. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm really not. I've pushed a lot of people through, and in the beginning, if you signed up when I started working with Curry years ago, you were brought right on almost in every market. I mean, like if you were on a wait list, it was for a couple weeks. But I've pushed a lot of people through just through these lives and whatnot. And now we're in summer, and they're starting to kind of refigure it out. But Chris has been on it geez, I don't want to quote it, but I'm thinking 14, 15 months. Now, Chris is in Buffalo. I will say it's weird because Buffalo is a big city, but Buffalo does not. I don't believe you guys have like we. There's some nationwide contracts you want in your area. Sherman Williams, U.S. Electric, uh, um, oh, what is it? Ferguson Plumbing. Now these are in every state in the country, but it's how prominent are they in your area. The more prominent these are, um, the better you'll do. And they've also picked up a couple new ones too. Like there's I can't think of the name of it, but there's a new app for HVAC last minute delivery, meaning hot shot HVAC stuff that needs to get to contractors who are finishing up a job. So like they're missing some conduit or if they need a part for the furnace or if they the igniter or whatever and the one they got is dead and they need to finish this job. They got four guys. It's kind of like exactly like Curri, but instead of building their own Curri, they didn't decide to use all the apps. They are exclusive with Curri as of like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And that I know has really opened up a lot of need because that is a nationwide booming thing. I'll have to look up the app name, you guys, but I don't think you guys would be using it because the app is to order things. And you, unless you're an HVAC tech or installer or own your HVAC business, this app won't help you. I'm just letting you know it's a big app for that. And they really spent a lot of marketing money to make sure it gets out there. Um, but yeah, Chris, I am like I was just gonna say, if I don't even know if I said it, but I'm gonna get Chris and Pedro off the list, and I'll always keep trying for all you guys. So if you signed up through my link, which is in this show, on the last mile, it's the Curri link is always in my show. Some show notes it might not be in, and on other ones people have told me, but this show it's always in there. So go in there if you signed up with my link, and if you signed up with my link a while ago, email me because that's an easy track for me to do, where I don't have to involve people I don't like to ask where you're at on the list. So basically, if you signed up with my link, I don't get anything. You don't get anything because the perk of Curri is just getting on it. So, and to put it in perspective, guys, I've said this before, but you guys need to know this. Um, look, Curri went public in 2019, okay, in January. Curri was profitable in 2019. Curri has been profitable every quarter since then. And we know that there is a we know that there is a leveling out. We know that there's a honeymoon period and then there's a with pay regarding pay anyway. Um we say that about every app. Never happened with Curri. I mean, still to this day. Like I got on in June of 2019. They launched in 2019. We were working together in 2019 and 2020, and now I still do this or that for them. And they're actually going to be involved in the thing we are doing here on August 5th. Pedro's event is on August 4th here. I believe it is at the Marriott, but on August 5th, um, I am doing an event with Stephanie Vigil, who wrote the legislation that that doesn't involve we're doing a town hall and there's gonna anybody who's here is invited to come. It will be at the Wash Park Grill. All the information is up on the website, on Pedro's website too, but I will be putting it on mine and it will be pinned to the top. But basically it's going to be an in-person town hall. We're going to have people like Sergio, even Harry, the rideshare guy. I'm going to try and get him in here. David, me, Stephanie Vigil. We're going to have two House representative members other than Stephanie. We're going to have two of the people who, or we're going to have the person who got the business license for the co-op of who got the business license for the driver co-op here on May 13th. May 13th, that driver co-op became a reality where it's just a straight percentage cut. So we're going to be talking about that because it's just enough time to let them have 2 or 3 months, see what they can do. One of the issues being, to me anyway, I always said, let's not have a trap door. I know Chris is in here, and I know that, Sergio will hear this too, but one of the things I've interviewed Stephanie 3 times now. And one of the things that I've asked her is, But I love it. My only concern is a trap door from unions. So the board that is overseeing there's a 5-person board that's overseeing the independent drivers wanting to stay IC, but get complete transparency and get a straight pay, and that's why they're starting this. But that was the bill she made too. But there are 2 people on this board for this drivers co-op who are big union people. So they'll be here as well. And yes, we are putting I was gonna put out something, but I've already talked to Stephanie, and she is going to help me nudge getting either of the Democrats, and again, I'm not this isn't a political party, guys, here for me. Excuse me. But, either of the holdouts, or as Sergio calls them, the sellouts. So we had 2, um, Democrats who had pledged their allegiance to this bill and that they would be on side with it, and it wouldn't be a problem. In the day that the bill was supposed to have a House floor vote, it got shot down. It didn't even make the House floor because 2 of the party people who were in support of it in a big way must have some kind of backdoor dealings with DoorDash. And we'll get into all that at this town hall, and it will be live streamed. And in fact, I am inviting every creator that's here for GigCon and the people coming in for this event. We got the Denver Post, we got 9 News is going to stop by, and it's a 2-hour event from 12 to 2 on Saturday, August 5th, here in Denver. And you guys, if you happen to be here, you come in for GigCon, or if you just even want to come in for this, or if you're making a vacation, this is gonna be a big deal. We're gonna make this because here's the thing: like I've said before, we didn't ask for any money here in Colorado. Every other state, even some of the ones we think are better bills than others, every other state has money involved. Minnesota, even Seattle, which I know Chris is in here, a big fan of this. Yeah, they all. Oops, sorry about that. They all have a number attached, though, guys. Not sure what's going on. Okay. So, yeah, and with that number gets a lot of more publicity and other things. So, did this one get the publicity? No. So the only 2 problems I saw with this bill, and I'm sorry I'm off on a tangent right now about this, but the only 2 problems I saw with this bill was that if I saw it correctly, what they estimated the taxes would be to the citizens was off by a good amount. And by that, I mean like 300%. So it had 2 House members, including Stephanie Vigil, who wrote who wrote the bill, and then they had a senator sponsor. So usually a senator sponsor means they like the language of the bill and everything. But yeah, I don't know. It was my big deals were just, were there any back deal made with unions and this, that, and the other? And as far as I can tell, no. And as long as that's the case, this bill is what every state should have because it does solve all of the problems for both sides. Like, because if we're going to have different states saying, okay, look, you're going to be paid this much a mile, and we're going to go back to the not up front, but the mile pay, and they're going to go like how Minnesota wanted as much as Seattle gets paid per mile per minute, but it's almost 3 times the cost of living in Seattle as it is in the Twin Cities. So, I mean, did they ask for too much? I think so. I think they did because I think there's a magic number, just like there was in Seattle. I think with every state, there's going to be one here sooner or later. But I think Minnesota had to look at it like it wasn't just what the governor said about like we're going to look into this more. If the number had been a lot lower, this might have actually been decided on. But that said, we're gonna this town hall is going to be a big deal. And after this live stream, that's one of the things I'm talking to Alice about. Um, and actually, now that I'm talking to Alice, I'm gonna ask her about Chris. I'm glad you're in here because I'm gonna ask about Chris and I'm gonna ask about Pedro because I've been telling both of them I'm gonna do it. And I want to see what she can do. But then I gotta back off you guys because I was not supposed to be bothering them so much. But for a while, they kind of took it over, and they were just showing up in the lives and getting you guys out. And I know that was a good time for a lot of you. I know that's Josh got out, Xander got out, and Xander's in LA. I don't think he was on the waiting list nearly as long as all these other people. So uh, my main thing is just keep hanging out here. And I know this week's been a little bit off base on topic. I want to see what else you guys got going on. What's up, Roy? What's up, Jason Thierry? Hello. Hello. Back. What up, Mr. Roy? Oh yeah, and Brian got on. See, Brian was in a if I got it right, Brian was in a live stream I was doing before last mile, but it was something on Curry. And I didn't even have Curry people on. I just was talking about some Curry. I believe I had Dana from my friend who does Curry in Boston. I believe I had him on with me. But to be honest, they were taking people off the list during the show. So um they show you already have an account. Well, what happens when you open the app? Because here's why I asked Flower, because when you sign up for Curry, they run your background check, they do this, they do that. But you're not, if you can open the app and you see a active inactive button at the bottom, then you can hit active and you're ready to go. But they ask about your car and everything else. I know. And you know what? I'm pretty sure that's why he's not coming to Denver. He's like, I don't want to come for that. But I think it's really because of this. No. Don't worry, Josh. You're going to like it way more than you think. Can you help me get a gig creator for next week? Yeah, is there a gig creator in here? Hey, Dasher Benji, you want to be on the Gig Economy podcast next week with Jason? Or Dasher Benj? Or Roy? Roy, you should go on there. You'd have fun on that one. I don't know if you guys have even ever met or whatever, but you'd have fun on that. They have a fun Wednesday night stream. But if any of you guys if Roy or if anybody in here wants to be in on that, hey man, you know what, Roy? They would love to have. So Jason, don't listen to this. If you would want Roy'd be a great guest because you can talk about safety. You can talk about so many different things in the gig space that Roy and I have done this many times. That he's really smart on this stuff. So I mean, I always like when it comes to safety, Roy's my go-to guy. If I'm gonna make a safety video, I think I made 3 with Roy, you know. So if you want to do an episode where you want to talk about safety, bring Roy on. He actually has a good grasp of that stuff. Oh, hey, thank you for the super sticker, Jason. Appreciate that. Yeah, so okay, you're on the wait list. I don't know, did you use Flower, did you use my link or did you just sign up? And don't worry, again, I get nothing. I don't care. It's just it helps me track it down a little better. Yeah, and that's, guys, actually that's what I came in here for. So let's maybe at least talk about that today because this is kind of big. And I know Xander gets this. Look, most people, and I've been thinking about this a lot because every time we talk about miles, you guys you look at what we're doing, those of us doing Curry, and I know those of you that do like food delivery and stuff, you look at it and you're like, well, I don't know. I mean, why are you driving 600 miles you know, for $800? Because here's the thing, guys. Like, yes, I agree with you. For food delivery apps, keep it as close as you can. I mean, hell, don't drive more than a mile because they don't pay you enough. But A couple reasons. Number 1, I'm not trying to destroy my car, but I'm not afraid to run my car into the ground. If the miles make sense, I'm gonna drive the miles. I'd much rather be on the highway and be home, obviously, what, 600 miles, or 550, what is that? That's gonna take me, like, you know 7, 8 hours, and I'm back home, if that's the round trip and I'm being paid $800, you guys do the math. It's $100 an hour. And I know a lot of you then weigh the miles and say, yeah, but you made that much money, but you put 600 miles on your car. So what? Look, I'm not putting $600, or I'm not putting 600 miles on my car for a $2 base pay and a potential hidden tip. I'm putting it on there for $800. So, I mean, I'm sorry, like, I just that one doesn't work for me, because if you're truly doing gig work and you're just working the food apps, I agree. Don't drive your car very far. I mean, I do DoorDash testing mainly because I don't see enough good orders. But when I see the far ones, of course I'm not do that is night and day different from Curry. Um, but it's I will take bigger pay for a lot of miles, a lot that scares a lot of people. But I would say, you know what? If your car can do it, do it. And also you can go to accident ratings too. The, you know, if you can look up your statistics in your state, but the more if you can find a site or some kind of calculator that shows you on average, if you spend X amount of time in your car in your state, some, like here in Colorado on CDOT, you can find like stats that'll show you, like, if you're doing that, like, highway accidents probability and car maintenance kind of breakdowns from past years, as well as like those compared to the city. And I'd rather put 600 miles on my car on the highway than 150 in the city, because way bigger chance of an accident. You're beating your car up at the city, you're hitting the brakes all the time, you're stoplights, this, that, the other. You're making your car work way too hard for this little minute crap pay. I mean, and I understand some people have, Tony has Teslas, and some people have hybrids, and so to each its own. But I'm saying, and of course there's money to be made. But my point is, don't rule out, or if you are ruling out last mile services because you think that's just too much miles for my car, that's the only reason I won't do it. To you, I would say, okay, but the pay is so much better. Run your car into the ground. Just get it and just run it into the ground. It's, I mean, because if not, if you had a W-2 for years and you saved up to get like your dream car, my other piece of advice is, don't use your dream car for work, not for this work. I know a lot of people can't afford a second vehicle, but you want to have a vehicle that's workable. And anyway, I would absolutely say, look, guys, I am here to make money. I've been doing rideshare since 2015. I've been doing, I've done all the gig apps. I've done all the main ones, and I've done a lot of the offshoots. And I mean, clearly some I'm still on a wait list for. Like, I've never done a Walmart Spark, but I was never even going to sign up until I saw, Dash Theory, John. Love John, love his videos, and he's actually one of the guys who can put it in perspective if it's worth it. And even though I probably should have signed up a long time ago, I saw a couple of his videos he just dropped lately, and I signed up. Now I'm on a wait list. So it's what happens. I should have signed up before, even when I knew, but I was doing Curry. Look, I mean, it's hard to, like Kim always says, have your arsenal as big as you can. I agree, but make sure that you're needing to onboard a little more arsenal, or onboard one a week. Don't onboard to like 8,000, because some of them will go, he hasn't even launched the app, or this or that. And they, with most of them, it's like a soft deactivation. It might sound like a permanent one, but they might be like, you're deactivated. Oh, why? I'm even taking a trip. And all they really want is a call to say, they just want to make sure they're sending data to somebody that didn't create an account and then like give the phone number up, and they're just wasting sending data to it. So I get it. I mean, that's one of the things I get that they do, but like I said, like I had so much good going with Curry, and I still do on most weeks that it's hard for me to find weeks to onboard. And then when I don't have the biggest Curry week, like this week, now I'm or like last week, that was my fault. This week, I'm waiting for it to pick up, but I'm gonna try and schedule some of my dumpling work, and then obviously I'm gonna turn on some other apps. I'm coming up to I'm gonna be doing a week, and I would know which is gonna be the worst week of Curry this summer, because in June or July, I did a shipped Instacart challenge way back when, like November, December of 2021. I don't know. And shipped was great to me at that time. Instacart lost. It was the beginning of my hatred of Instacart. But I'm gonna be doing a 1 week, uh, working DoorDash and Instacart only. And on the Instacart side, I'm going to be, I'm gonna have both on. I'm gonna let them compete, see which is the lesser of losers. This is what the battle's gonna be. But in my market, so I'm gonna have them both on, let them compete. On the Instacart orders, I will be taking only big orders, even if their pay isn't great. But if it's decent, because we don't see great pay, but I'm gonna be shoving in my advertising for my dumpling on everyone. It's gonna be the first time. And I don't know if it'll be live streamed, but I'll make a video because I want to make sure that I don't get in trouble. Roy's in here, he can attest to what I'm talking about. Um, and again, Jason, if you're still in here, another reason you might want to have Roy on, because Roy just had an incident involving YouTube and his job. So I mean, really, I would say, there's a handful of people. Not everybody's in here today, but yeah, I mean, you could even have Josh on. But I think that, dude, the other thing too is you never hit up the Michigan people, man. You never hit up Let's Play DoorDash. You gotta get Joe on too. Come on, man. He's one of us. He's a Michigander and he lives in Detroit. He'd be a good match for your show too. I got a few, man, of course. But if you really want to be ballsy, you put Roy on. Roy's fun, and it'll be a lot. And I know you'll have fun with him, and so will Jesper. You guys will have fun. Um, but okay, so what is this? I think I might have missed something. So the other, yes, I'm looking at this. Um, so the other thing, flour too, is look, nobody like Gig Geezer and I, we went through this actually twice on 2 live streams on this channel. Miles are a gig workers slash independent contractors best friend. Miles are your best friend. Now, if you guys filed taxes, you probably were looking for all the write-offs, this, that, the other, and you probably did standard mileage deduction. It's usually the best way to do it for those of us, unless you have something complicated going on that requires the other way, but it's usually the best way to go. Delivery drivers only. Rideshare can get a decent amount, but delivery drivers only don't really get the big refund, and it's not that great if you're just beating the hell out of your car and putting on very minimal miles. You're not being able to write off a lot. So with the courier work, I mean, I got to tell you, with having a kid, with writing it off, it actually helps really with taxes. It makes taxes very easy to do a lot of courier work and long miles. Just let me say that. Um, that is one of the perks of an independent contractor. And I'm not gonna lie, in the gig economy, it's probably I mean, flexibility or this or that, those might be the important ones to you. But as far as like when it comes tax time, the best thing you can do, the one best thing you can do is do the most claimable miles you can have. The more claimable miles you have, I mean, you could go from paying a lot to paying some, paying nothing to a little refund to a big refund. So it all depends on your situation. Um, Josh, some drivers will drive I wanna know the driver that will drive 600 miles for 550. Right, right, right. Well, Flower, everybody, if anybody's doing gig work and not claiming the miles, I was talking about how you claim them. Some people don't do standard mileage deduction. They go the other way and the miles still come into play, but it's just not the value of the flat one. And again, there's very few scenarios where you would, I don't know if Marissa's still in here, but she could probably give you one or two examples. Very few examples where you would not go with the standard mileage deduction. Yeah, Jason, have Sam Lee on. Um, Let me see. So yeah, so I got a meeting with Alice here in a little bit, and that's kind of about the event that we got going on. You guys, if you have signed up with Curri, please, again, we're at a new point. I am not even telling anybody I can do anything to help you out. Okay. However, if you are signed up and been on the waiting list for a while, email me, Steve at ridesharerodeo.com, and email me from the email address you signed up for Curri with. So, if you signed up for Curri with your not primary email address, please send me an email from that address, or at least put into the email, into the body, that here's the email that I signed up for Curri with. At least let me know, because that's the only way to check. And then if you signed up with my link, let me know, because that makes it easier. From If you send an email from the email you signed up with and tell me in the body that you signed up with my link, I can actually check real quickly, almost pretty pinpointed to where you are on the list, or what's going on. So and that's not telling you you're going to get off the list, but I can at least like check a lot easier. But I can check just with the email address you signed up for. So if you want to just shoot me an email, Steve at ridesharerodeo.com, let me know. I will take a look for everybody. um for 10K. Josh, quit giving away. So Josh and I are going to be, and he's making it sound high now so that when it releases, you guys aren't like all pissed off. But Josh and I are going to be letting anybody who wants on Curri on for $1,000. That's $1,000 to Josh and $1,000 to me. We'll get you on Curri tomorrow. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. That is not true. Don't do that. Don't. Just send it to Josh. He's the scammer. No, but you guys, Curri, the other best thing you can do before I wrap this up here today, the other best thing you can do, I've said it before, but make sure that you sign up. Like, if you have a pickup truck, but you don't want to use it for any gig work at all, even Curri. Okay. And then let's say you have a Prius or an SUV or whatever you drive. What I would say is sign that truck up. If it's legal and it has plates, and you can take a picture, and it has insurance, even if you just use it for camping or for this, that, or the other, and you're not going to use it, sign up for Curri. If you have a box truck, sign up with your box truck. Even if you're not going to use it, if you have a pickup truck, put that. You have a pickup truck with a pipe rack, boom, put that. That gets you in a whole new stage. But then change your car back to the car you will be using just to get on, because the bigger the car, the bigger the vehicle, the faster you will just bypass the list. So it should make sense. I wouldn't like do it and then the first day do it. It's just a little tip and trick that might work. It might not as well, but it's absolutely worth trying, and it should make sense to you guys. You can also contact, like how Flower was saying that she sees that she's already been, or that she's, I can't remember how you worded it, Flower, sorry, that you were somehow activated, or um oh, it says I've already, oh wait, I'm saying I'm on the, oh wait, I've already applied. It doesn't, you guys, you can, if you email support, they've changed things around a little bit. I used to always say email support, but if you email is it deactivation or reactivation? Well, just email both. Just put both addresses. Put deactivation at curri.com, and then also on the 2-line, put reactivation at curri.com. From the email account you signed up for Curri with, send it to both those. One of them will probably bounce back because I don't think one of them's right. I think it's just reactivation is the correct one. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Why would you email deactivate? Reactivation at curri.com. Email that from the email you signed up with and tell them how, just nicely, hey, this is my name. I'm just curious. I signed up a while ago. I'm really interested in working on the platform. Is there any update or whatever? They might not give you any kind of good information. You might not get a reply. I don't know. But again, I'm a person who I'm all about it. If it can't hurt, do it. Like think it through. I mean, don't do something that's going to get them pissed off at you and make you just take you off the thing altogether. But I mean, look, if you can, it's like when you apply for jobs. Maybe you don't all subscribe to this, but you need to when you apply for a job, you need to make yourself stand out, right? I mean, you might be the most qualified, but you still want to make yourself stand out. You want to, I don't know. I like to bring my character in because the other part of it's in the past, like when I've had W-2 jobs. Do you really want a W-2 job if you're just sitting there completely like not comfortable in the interview and not being yourself and taking a job? See, I wouldn't, because I don't think, unless I got lucky, I'm probably not going to groove with them. So even if it's not the full blown Steve, you're going to get a piece of me in an interview to make you kind of understand who and what I am, like, because I need to make sure that you can groove with that, and I need to make sure I can groove with you. That's kind of always been the case. And the times that I haven't done that, and I've really just wanted the job, and I've kind of been the robot interviewee, doing great though, get hired, is usually the times I don't like the job too much or end up getting out of there. But yeah, I'll end it, you guys, with email me about Curri. Next week I'll be back, and I am all about, from here till next week, I will be taking as many orders as I can because I took a lot of time off, or most of last week, and this week been playing catch up. But I will be working as much Curri as possible, taking a ton, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week. I might have a guest. I'm still trying to get, like I said, I'm gonna be doing one CEO or person involved with a company. It doesn't need to be a CEO. It could be tech, it could be, whatever. But somebody high up with any of these last mile apps or in the space that understands it. So I'm going to try and do that once a month, have them on for like the first 20 minutes, and then kind of let them go and kind of talk about the episode from there. So that's it, you guys. I appreciate you joining me, and make sure to catch tomorrow night's roundtable. We have a guest. We don't always have a guest. If you guys know Gig Work Mama, her name is Shayana, and she will be joining us from Canada. Go check out her channel. It's at Gig Work Mama. But she will be joining us tomorrow night. So join us there, and join us back here next week on The Last Mile. Until then, be safe, earn smart. See you soon, guys.
Well, midnight headlights